Tonight on KGW News, the video that shows the moments that led a security guard to shoot and kill a man steps away from a Portland preschool.
What's your problem? Help you guys!
Plus, new at 11, why some neighbors are so concerned about plans to build a new homeless shelter in Northwest Portland.
Let's talk about this. Let's see if we can compromise.
Then see why ski resorts across Oregon are worried they may have to close if state law doesn't change.
That's not an exaggeration. The situation is precarious.
And later, call it a step to secure baseball's financial future. As lawmakers make a move, advocates hope will help Portland draw in a major league team. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Mulco. We begin tonight with newly released body camera video that sheds light around the moments that led a security guard to shoot and kill another man and not far from a Portland preschool. Tonight, prosecutors calling his actions a case of self-defense. Alma McCarty's been looking through the video. Alma, we should note the video is disturbing, but we will not show the moment of the shooting itself.
Yeah, David, this incident dates back to May 8th when a man sped into a Jewish preschool parking lot, almost hitting the security guard. You can see that in the video here. Then that security guard follows the driver into the next lot over, where the confrontation began.
Get out of here!
What started here in front of the Gone preschool on the morning of May 8th escalated in the next parking lot over.
What's your problem? Help you guys! What's your problem? What's your problem?
This body cam video showing a fight between 32-year-old Manuel Garza and 53-year-old Eric Salisbury, a security guard at the Jewish preschool on Capitol Highway.
What's your problem? What are you doing?
Investigators say Garza held down the security guard, strangling him. Prosecutors writing he maintained a dominant position as he continued his assault. Salisbury warning his attacker he would shoot.
Show me that! Show me! Show me!
30 seconds later, Salisbury pulls his gun from his side, shooting Garza once in the abdomen. The security guard rolled Garza off him and, according to officials, went into this clinic to ask for help and to call 911. More than a month after the deadly shooting, the Multnomah County DA's office declined to prosecute, calling the use of force justified under Oregon law and therefore not criminal. Attorneys for Salisbury said the licensed security guard was forced to defend his life.
And prosecutors say that Salisbury could not access his pepper spray since it was behind him and he was pinned down on the ground on his back. They also wrote that he only fired one time and stopped when Garza relented after the shot. David, back to you.
Difficult circumstances. Appreciate your reporting tonight. Thanks, Alma. A Nadawa wildfire burning in central Oregon that is threatening some 350 plus buildings. The Alder Springs fire is burning in Jefferson County to the northwest of Redmond. Level 3 go now evacuations are in place for some areas east and south of Canyon Steelhead Falls. At last update, the fire has burned some 2,500 acres since Monday morning. Firefighters say they made good progress today on part of the fire with air resources, but some spots have been harder to get to.
This area is with the river canyons, makes for hard access. There's definitely areas where the firefighters cannot go in safely, so they're going to have to look a little bit bigger picture and find where they can stop the fire outside of that river canyon.
Well, this fire is listed as human cause, though so far no word on exactly what sparked it. Well, meanwhile, in the gorge, more good news when it comes to the Rowena fire that's burning west of the Dalles, with most of the level 2 beset evacuation notices now downgraded to level 1s and all previous level 1s dropped. That fire, also human cause, is now more than 50% contained after it destroyed over 50 homes and burned more than 3,500 acres. Fire crews, though, still dealing with some challenging winds in the area. Let's take a quick look outside tonight at the end of what was another beautiful June day, though there are some changes headed our way. Matt Savino's tracking that in your weather impact forecast. Hey there, Matt.
Yeah, David, we've got a couple of wet June days on the way, but not so much tomorrow. But look at the change happening already today. We had a beautiful afternoon at the coast, nice and sunny, but look, the clouds come on shore and suddenly it is socked in and those clouds are moving our way. And there is some rain showing up along the Long Beach Peninsula and just to the west of Astoria, and we will get a few sprinkles tomorrow morning, but that's not the big change that we're talking about. Any rain we get tomorrow will be pretty inconsequential, and we'll go back to sunshine by afternoon anyway. In fact, we have not had much rain. This is since the beginning of April, okay? Our last soaking rain, that's considered to be a quarter of an inch or more, was back a month ago on the 17th of May when we had over an inch of rain. That was a good soaking for sure, right? But there's only been 2 days since the 1st of April with a quarter of an inch or more. The other one was April 6th. This month, our wet day, the one wet day, was the 4th of June. We had 1,800 of an inch of rain. That's pretty much it for the month so far. And of course, we're heading into what is on average the driest month of the year of July with a little over half an inch of rain. But we'll get some sprinkles tomorrow morning. Nice and warm and dry on Thursday. Much better chance for significant rainfall comes Friday and Saturday. Also talk about the snow. It's coming back to the Cascades, David.
Oh boy, here it comes. Thanks, Matt. New tonight, neighbors in Northwest Portland are sounding off over the city's plans for a new overnight homeless shelter, one that is slated to fill a vacant office building at the edge of the Pearl District right next to I-405. Catherine Cook's in the newsroom. Catherine, sounds like you got a bit of an earful from folks. First of all, is this a done deal?
Yeah, city officials tell me yes, but they're still very early in the planning stages. Now, under their logic, the shelter will give people already sleeping on the streets in the Pearl a safer option. But many neighbors worry it could make the issues they're facing worse instead of solving them. On the corner of Northwest 15th and Northrop, you'll find the talk of the Pearl District.
And it's not going to be good.
The future home of an overnight homeless shelter.
We worry about, the house values.
The city of Portland leased the building and tells KGW they hope to open the shelter by September. It would be low barrier, meaning adults who stay here can be drunk or high. They just can't bring drugs with them. Maximum capacity, 200 beds.
We'll start at kind of a low operational number and build into capacity.
Rob Lane is with the city's Portland Solutions program. He says the shelter will help Mayor Keith Wilson reach his goal of adding 1,500 new overnight shelter beds by December.
To make sure that they have a safe and place to sleep each night, to get them off the street so that they can get up and do the work that they need to do to move on to their next step of their housing journey.
So they come out every day and where do they go?
Kathy Dunn has lived in the Pearl for 18 years. She says plans for the shelter left her feeling blindsided by the city.
They want the collaboration of the community. No one said anything to us at all.
Yeah, I don't think the neighborhood should be subject to an irresponsible campaign promise.
Todd Zarnitz is president of the Northwest District Association. He believes addiction is the root of Portland's homeless crisis. He doesn't think this shelter will solve that. He's also frustrated by its close proximity to another overnight shelter. Blanche House just announced plans for a 75-bed shelter for women 2 blocks away.
The neighborhood's perspective is that if you're going to concentrate a problem, have a solution for the problem, and nothing's really being offered here.
I mean, people need to get off the street. That's not a permanent solution.
But for David Mink, it's a start. He lives nearby and supports opening the shelter on Northrop.
As I said, what are you going to do? Say, well, they have to be out there somewhere else. I mean, if there's a building and it's available, to me, it makes sense.
How it might impact businesses here is another concern. The Pearl District, already an oyster shell of what it once was, riddled with empty storefronts.
Everybody's just going to turn off the lights, and we're going to see this destabilize the community, and that's a very real fear.
The city says right now there are no listening sessions or town halls scheduled to discuss the shelter. However, they tell us they're meeting with neighborhood associations and stakeholders to do site assessments and walkthroughs of the property to help shape their plans. David.
Thanks, Catherine. Appreciate you looking into that. Tonight, the Trump administration is doubling down on its use of National Guard troops in L.A. by activating 2,000 more members. This is in response to ongoing anti-ICE protests through L.A., though L.A.'s mayor today lifted the curfew in the city, saying it helped curb vandalism and looting. Meanwhile, the president's control of the National Guard is being debated in court. A federal appeals court hearing arguments today, though did not make a decision. A lower court initially ordered control be returned to California Governor Gavin Newsom, but that ruling was quickly put on pause. And this comes as the White House has essentially done a 180 on exemptions for enforcement, saying ICE can once again target and detain workers in the hospitality and agriculture sectors. Today, there was new reaction, including from the Oregon Wine Growers Association, which calls migrant workers the backbone of the industry. One example, a Newburgh man who ICE agents arrested last week is currently being held in Tacoma. Here's what we heard from a Yamhill County commissioner.
Not only is our leading industry going to slow down, but also it bleeds into manufacturing, it bleeds into construction, in every aspect of our economy.
On top of this, the Oregon Restaurant and Lodging Association tells us it is providing resources to help its members navigate immigration-related matters. Developing this evening, leaders at a rural church in Clackamas County are cleaning up from broken glass and busted windows, dealing with the aftermath of what they think could be a hate crime. Daisy Caballero has the story.
Well, our sign here is the way that we get our message across to the people driving by. It's very effective. A lot of people comment on it.
Greg Hetman has been a member of the Beaver Creek United Church of Christ for 73 years. It's a church in rural Clackamas County with a progressive stance that welcomes everyone through their doors, including the LGBTQ+ community.
We have a number of members who are in that category, and they're full members of the church.
Cynthia Andrews is the church moderator and believes they've been the target of vandalism in the past because of their views.
And to have this kind of damage because of our values is really, it feels very personal. It's a personal violation.
And it happened again.
There is the very brick.
Sometime between last Friday night and Saturday morning, someone broke this glass window with a brick, shattering glass everywhere inside the community hall. 2 stained glass windows were also broken that have been there for nearly a century.
A lot of history in these windows and very personal to this church.
Church leaders think it's a hate crime.
I was going to say it's disturbing. The service on Sunday was very subdued as people came in and, learned about the damage. And it's, like I said, it feels personal.
The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office says it took a report of damage on Monday, but stated there's, quote, no indication that this was a bias crime. According to the Oregon Department of Justice, a hate crime, also known as a bias crime, is any hostile expression that may be motivated by any person's perceived protected class, meaning their race, color, religion, and sexual orientation.
But it's about who we are, what our values are as a church, and how we speak out into the community. So I believe that the Sheriff's Office is misguided.
Daisy Caballero, KGW News.
To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, Oregon City Police are asking for help catching a burglary suspect when they say broke into the Geeks and Game store, apparently while riding a scooter. Authorities say he stole more than $1,000 worth of items the morning of May 24th from the shop on Beaver Creek Road, including new Pokemon trading cards. Police describe the suspect as a heavy-set man about 6 feet tall and say he may be trying to sell his haul to other gaming stores. Portland police have arrested 2 people they say stole more than $100,000 worth of merchandise from area stores. Officers stopped the 2 last week with what they're calling a coordinated traffic stop at Northeast Halsey and 112th. Authorities say they recovered dozens of stolen items, many of them shoes and clothing with tags and security tags still attached. Both suspects are charged with theft and organized retail crime. Intel is set to lay off 15 to 20% of its factory workers. We're talking thousands of employees nationwide and as soon as next month. Right now, it's not exactly clear how many people in Oregon out of 20,000 or so who work here could lose their jobs. Just last year, Intel cut some 15,000 workers, including 3,000 in Oregon. So far, Intel has not responded to our requests for comment. And a bill that would help fund a Major League Baseball stadium in the Rose City has overwhelmingly passed the state house. The bill, which already passed the Senate, would allow the state to provide up to $800 million in bonds to help build that facility along the south waterfront. The bonds would be repaid with a so-called jock tax, taxing the salaries of players and staff. The bill now heads to the governor's desk. Well, speaking of baseball, sorry to say it is the end of the road for the Beavers at the College World Series. A comeback game today just came up just short in the elimination against Louisville. Oregon State rallied for 3 runs in the 9th inning to tie the game, but Louisville answered with a run of its own, winning 7-6. Oregon State finishes the season 48-16-1. They played as an independent and put quite a few miles on the season, traveling 23,465. We're proud of you. What a season, right?